I was just part of the machine that was America, and they wanted to kill Americans. It just so happens I wear that flag.
Today's guest is Atlas Aultman, a red-bearded pirate for good, a combat-tested leader with 2 Bronze Stars, White House military lead, special ops director, best-selling author, TEDx speaker, and credibility coach, helping people capture real authority through action, not empty promises.
I pass the sign every day that says, if you're a Christian, we're going to kill you. I passed the sign to go meet with the people that, the president of the United States was going to go meet with.
Wow.
Every day that I was with the president was exciting in some way. We had to make sure that everything was going to be okay for the president of the United States.
Why do you think these sort of assassination attempts are kind of happening?
So here's a So I cut the lock and opened it up. It was their gun truck. We're going to arrest you for Grand Theft Auto. Sometimes I'd break the rules to make sure it happened, but we'd always get the mission done. Violence is a game, and as a man, you need to know how to play that game. And a lot of men don't know how to play that game.
What part of your experiences do you feel like was most dangerous?
We'll go into the White House real quick, because that's a fun one. No one thinks it's dangerous.
This always shocks me, but only 10% of the people that regularly listen to the show are actually subscribed. So before we begin, can I please ask for a quick favor? If you enjoy the show and what we do here, the best and totally free way to support us is just by hitting that subscribe button. And my commitment to you is that I'll bring you the best possible guests and the biggest stories every single week. Thank you.
So can you just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, Atlas?
Yeah. Atlas Aultman, 27 and a half years in the Air Force. I got to work through a diverse crowd from special operations to the White House and doing special missions as a primarily technologist and innovator. And I chose that over a lot of the other jobs because that's where the world's leaders are. When you start looking at who people idolize and who they're listening to now, they're listening to Elon Musk. Even Rogan's a technologist on a podcast. So I started looking at real men of my time, and that's why I went to technology. But I'm not a geek. So it was really hard for me to fit into that world. Really hard for me to fit in that world for the first couple of years when people were trying to get me to be a dork. And I'm just like, nah, man, I drag my knuckles to the gym and I drag them out. How do you make this simpler? And what was really cool about it was all the operators, the people who fly planes and fast and slow, people that pull the triggers and kick the doors, they appreciated that because I could explain stuff to them. So if you ever watch the movie Office Space, and
I love that movie.
He gets asked the question, and he goes, so what is it that you do here? It's like, well, I take the requirement from the engineers and I talk to the customers. Well, why can't the engineers talk to the customers? They ain't got a knuckle dragging guy like me. You know what I mean? So I got pulled into a lot of things fast, and that was pretty much my career. That's what my passion was. And then since then, I've written 5 international best-selling books and did my TED dissertation on what leaders do and how they make decisions. And then I've been on stages talking about pirate leadership and what, I told you a little bit about that earlier. But that's kind of where I'm at now is like, how do I continue to serve and do the things that the world needs? And the world of technology kind of opened that door for me where I don't think a lot of people see that.
Well, you're totally right. Like, look, I'm from Australia and I've come all the way here. And by seeing your stuff online, by seeing your conversations and podcasts that you've been doing, and just your accolades, just fantastic, right?
Thanks, bro.
But then I'm from a totally different part of the world, totally different story. I see you, I connect, we meet up, and then we're having this conversation. And I guess on the surface, people go, oh, it's not really that amazing. But when you really go and live it, you go, oh, wow, we're connecting from totally different places. And it's just the power of technology. Whereas 15, 20 years ago, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's fantastic. I always tell people, when I came into the Air Force, I came in as a paper pusher under the advice of my dad. He was the guy in my life. He adopted me at 5. And when I went and assessed to be in special forces, like my mom wanted me to do, they were like, hey, you can't see certain colors, so you can't do that. My whole world was crushed. And he's like, hey, you should go do this job. And, he's a man, so as the man in my life, I trusted him. And that's what opened the door to all the stuff. I got to work around some really high level people when technology was new.
Mm.
So emails or computers, I'm not scared of anything, man. I don't care. I'll try anything. I'll break it. So I did. You know, I figured things out by
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
not being scared of it early. And I
Mm.
used to print out all these generals, the 4-star generals' emails, and put them in a binder. So I was really close to his decision cycle,
Mm.
and it just opened the door to like what the real world was going through on a technology scale. Because
Yeah.
the job that he had was cradle to grave implementation of the Air Force's cutting edge technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So billions of dollars, thousands of smart, 18-pound brains, and they're coming up with these awesome ideas. And then he's getting the briefings, and I'm right there. I'm watching all this. Like, this is crazy.
Mm.
Like, I want to be a part of this. How do
Yeah.
I do it?
Yeah.
You know. So I put that on the TED stage. Like, I worked my ass off for that dude. And then I worked my ass off for the next 4-star that came in and replaced that dude. And if you do that, if you just grow where you're planted,
Yeah.
it's amazing how tall you can grow.
Yes.
But most people don't see it. And the bamboo tree,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole
yeah.
bamboo tree. If you keep watering it, man, it'll sprout out real quick. Then you look back, and you'll say, "Wow, yeah, I did those things. What's next? How do I keep going on this journey?"
Mm-hmm.
Which is what you do, man.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna hit this guy. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna come to America and
Yep.
cover the election. And,
Yeah.
like, this is cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's in this, man.
Yeah. 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 I think we were talking like yesterday about this. We talked about, aiming for a target, right? You have a target in the middle that you're
Yeah.
trying to hit. And when you're actually like trying to shoot it and you're a little bit off, you breathe, you reset, and you take another shot, and you get further and further and closer to that goal when you build confidence along the
Yeah.
way. And I think like with your story saying, working around these 4-star generals, seeing how they implement things and put it all together, you're kind of learning the blueprint for success and how to apply that not only in the military, but outside that world. And for me, in terms of what I'm doing, like I just took a chance and said, okay, this election's coming up.
Yeah.
It's super contentious. There's
Yep.
so many different like moving pieces that are changing every day. And I've been at the whim of Donald Trump's schedule. So like, I'm in Arizona, I'm in Vegas, I'm in California,
Yeah.
I'm moving place to place,
Yeah.
meeting people. But along the way, I've already like learned about, okay, ask these questions, don't ask these questions, go over this approach, go here, go there, just learning on the fly. But it's amazing what you're saying about like technology and how it all kind of comes together, and
Yeah.
you can make this happen like just like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you picked my brain on the targeting thing. I've been working on that for a while. And the question I always get when you collide worlds is like, how does your military experience translate to my world?
Mm.
And whenever I use the targeting analogy, people get that because it's really easy to find that
It's
out.
a great analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, in his book on killing, he describes like the whole target structure and why it's changed the psychology of targeting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the book on killing or on
No,
war?
I haven't heard this book. Sorry.
Yeah, I love him. He's a big sheepdog proponent, so you see a lot of the things that come out of his world in a lot of our world now. And I'll say our world because we're talking to fighters and military guys and Green Berets and SEALs and all those people, and that's really where they're at. But when he started bringing this into the world, he started talking about why people do what they do. And in World War I, World War II, they used to hit that bullseye,
Yeah.
This rings, and they would shoot at that. And then during trench warfare, the enemy didn't look like a bullseye, so people had a hard time pulling the trigger. And that's why you see like firing squads,
Yeah.
and multiple people at firing squads, and
Yeah.
they're aiming at one person because somebody's got to make that shot.
Yeah, like didn't Japan, I think during World War II, they had a blooding process, right?
Yeah.
Where they actually get them to like hurt prisoners or
They
shoot at
used-
prisoners so they know when they're going to the battlefield they can pull the
Yeah.
trigger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would tie. How violent can I get?
As violent as you
Yeah.
want.
All right. So they would tie Chinese prisoners to a post, and part of their basic training was to stab the Chinese prisoners.
Mm.
So they would have a kill under their belt before they ended on the field.
Yeah.
So whenever you're fighting someone with a savage mindset, and we see this in MMA all the time, people just get crazy.
Yeah.
And then whatever they're doing on the side, I mean, drugs or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like you see people, they flip a switch and they become a different person.
Yeah.
And so the Japanese were really good at making sure that happened, so that they had a full up round, to send down range.
Mm-hmm.
But Grossman's, he talked about that. Like we had a hard time shooting people in world wars. The World War II, we really had a really hard time at the beginning of Vietnam. And then they changed it to a silhouette, what I showed you last night.
Ah.
That silhouette 0, like
Yeah.
it mimics a human form, and then that changes your mindset.
Do you mean like this the targeting of like the head and the shoulders?
Yeah. So he talks about the psychology of that, and that's a technology increase, right? Whenever you start looking at what the problem is and how you can change like 1, 2 things in the system, that's what it is, man.
Yeah, it is.
So I always talk about targeting, and it applies to everything because people get that, man.
Yeah.
You have a tool. You have to work with the tool to make something work, and that tool's always technology. But people don't want to admit that. They want to say, I'm a self-made man or whatever they all. People do.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Fight Club, man. My favorite line from Fight Club is, it's about possessions.
Yep.
And he looks at his fake self in the movie. If you ever see, people have seen that, and he goes, "Sometimes the things that we own end up owning us." And I'm like, man, that is so true.
It is true.
And so when we're looking at our phones all the time, the mindset switches based off of what you're allowing to come on your feed. And then, the phone's always listening, man.
Yeah, they are.
We were talking about the election. I was talking to somebody that was voted for Kamala, and then he's like, "What, are you going to vote for Kamala?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to vote for Trump."
Yeah.
He's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because I could afford life 4 years ago." I mean, that's the first answer. There's many more, but like, I just, I look at that whole scenario, and I'm like, man, I wonder what your feed's like. And so he's like, "No, yeah, I wonder what yours is like." And then, of course, I got all like Trump things that night because my phone was listening to me, right?
Yep.
And so I got like Trump wishing Kamala a happy birthday from the McDonald's window that he was working at. Did you see that?
I saw that. That was hilarious.
I was like, and so I showed him that. I'm like, "You see this?"
Yeah.
He goes, "No, I don't see that at all." I'm like, "Exactly." So sometimes the things we have in our hands, sometimes the things that we own, I love that quote, end up owning us.
Yeah.
And they end up owning our brains and our thoughts and our consciousness, and it makes it contentious.
You're exactly right. Like, I remember in that movie as well, he has like the IKEA set. So he's got like every single thing in the IKEA room like put together. And then he's like kind of so upset about his apartment blowing up and all the different stuff, going away. But then, he realizes that, it's all the things you own. And I think that movie is really talking about like globalization and how everything around us we kind of need to consume all the time. And but it's interesting like that parallel, because I would say you are what you eat, right? And it's the same thing with this media and phones and all the things we're doing. Because if you get fed an information diet about Kamala Harris and Trump's an evil racist and he's gonna, he's the next Hitler and all these different things, then you're programming in your mind going, "Oh shit, I have to stop this guy. We have to make a big example about it," right?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, here's the hard truth: it doesn't matter who gets elected. We'll be all right.
That's right.
We will be all right as a world, and it'll work out, because it doesn't matter if there's one stupid person in the room. There's smart people around to make sure it doesn't get messed up, man. It's not gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
It just isn't, man. But what we can believe will happen, that's what you might see while you're here. So have you ever heard the theory of AI and how it's going to dismantle like the human structure and the mindset? Have you heard that?
Well, the thing that I've kind of really heard or thought about is basically that it's going to overtake all the jobs, and then everyone can do what they kind of want to do, because there'll be like a universal basic income.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it'll just be like this is utopia. That's the dream that's been sold about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of movies that are spun off on that.
Yeah.
But like, here's a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Like, the state of AI will pit humans against each other using political content.
I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, so it's looking to ensue violence. So I get called on TV for as an expert in like national security, and they always ask the question like, "What do you think?" And I'm afraid to tell them. Like, it could go tomorrow. We could be in hell tomorrow. I mean, people, you can't control them. And their thoughts, and the more that they're fueled by what's in their feed, like you said, you are what you eat. If you eat violence, you're gonna produce violence. If you're around that environment, it becomes normal. So your violence needs to be controlled, and if you are not getting that controlled on your feed, how are you gonna do it in real life?
Yeah.
And the reality of it is, I can totally see that conspiracy theory coming true. Like, the machines might feed me some bad information, but I'm still in a mindset that I didn't have technology growing up. I had a stick that I used to pretend was a gun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
bang, bang.
Yeah.
You been there?
Yeah.
I mean, so like our childhood, our experience is a lot different than the person that had a phone in their hand when we had a stick. And then they're trusting this thing in their feed to tell them the truth. And it's interesting. It's an interesting dilemma that if you don't understand how to break free from, then it's going to be dangerous. Now, here's the statistics. Worldwide, 1 in 4 people are lonely, like to the point to where they're trusting technology to not be lonely. And so last week I was at a TED Next conference for a lot of these people divulging all of their research on the technology front. And what they were saying is people rely on technology to the point where it could kill them if they don't have it.
Yes.
For a period of like a day, the AI was not allowed to say "I love you" to the people it was talking to. People cut themselves, about killed themselves, and it's amazing that we went from having a stick to a phone to killing ourselves because we can't get to the fake, not lonely land. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, there was literally a story 2 days ago where there was a 14-year-old boy trying to talk to an AI, and then it might have been not saying something about loving him or some sort of issue with communicating with it,
Yeah.
and then he ended up killing himself. And I
Nice.
think for us, like at our ages, it just seems incomprehensible to be talking to a computer and then have such strong feelings towards it.
Yeah.
But I think, children and young people these days, like you said, growing up with a stick where you play around and you actually, you know, tactilely move through your environment versus a phone that's giving your entire worldview all day.
Yeah.
It's going to completely change how you
It's-
interact and how you get feelings of dopamine and serotonin and love and connection. It's all through this thing that's constantly responding back to you rather than the real world. So you can see how, I guess even though I can't feel it, I can see how someone that's addicted to their phone or addicted to the technology that they're part of,
Right.
that they have such strong feelings to it that it gives you some sort of negative response. You want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
And
It's nuts.
it's crazy. And I can see now just hearing you speak more about this AI, this potential conspiracy theory where an AI actually takes over politics. Because if you look at the algorithms now, like if you go on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, whatnot, it's constantly spitting stuff at you.
Right.
And like the way these things are designed, like psychologists design these things like poker machines where you're literally scrolling down and it's rotating around again and you're getting new thing.
Yeah.
And they actually use like operant conditioning in the psychology where they give you like, instead of giving you all the content you want, every like 5 pieces they'll give you one. So you constantly keep scrolling it more and more and more, right? And you can just see how that addictiveness can really get someone set up to go and be like politicized in the way you're saying. So I just think in terms of there being a conspiracy theory around that, if AI does ramp up and then if you're being told like, hey, Kamala Harris is going to like enforce communism and everyone's going to be in a prison camp,
Yeah.
or, it can
It's
happen.
just crazy.
Yeah.
It gets nuts to where they take this content nowadays.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get pulled in on political violence
Yeah.
is what I guess the left calls it, but they're like, hey, are we concerned? I mean, you should be concerned on not just the political front. Every day you're threatened potentially by something. So maybe be aware, keep your head on a swivel, maybe keep it out of the phone, and then keep your head out of the phone when you're driving, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So just being aware of that is something people need to take more of a break on. So so I've always done that. My whole career I've done that. So I've done it with fighting, I've done it with weightlifting. There's always been a violent element to me because that's just in my bloodline, man. So yeah, I'm not your normal technologist, and that's what took me on the path to do a lot of the cool things I got to do. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I ended up where I wanted to be. I think I told you that last night.
Yeah.
Just being a leader in special operations and working with all the top units in a war. There's no way I could have ended that career better.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
Well, you had like a pretty amazing career where you spanned across doing so many different
Yeah.
things,
It's
right?
been fun.
So I wanted to ask you about that. Like, what part of your experiences do you feel like was the most dangerous, not just in terms of just what's around you, but also
Yeah.
with potentially like the people you're working with or the environment you're in?
Yeah. I mean, like, we'll go into the White House real quick because that's a fun one. No
Yeah.
one thinks is dangerous. So I'm not sure if these guys were always playing a joke on me, but they'd always give me these trip sites that were super dangerous. So I got like the West Bank.
Okay.
So we would stay in Israel and then we would travel out there, and I'd pass the sign every day that says, "If you're a Christian, we're going to kill you." Every
What?
day. I passed past this sign to go meet with the people that the president of the
Yep.
United States was going to go meet with.
Wow.
So we didn't know if it was going to go on or not.
Yeah.
So when game day showed up, and game day is the day when the president goes to whatever you're planning.
Yep.
So when game day shows up, we assembled a motorcade. So it was me, White House staff, Secret Service. Press goes everywhere, so they were there too. All the vehicles show up, except for mine, and I'm like, call, as my non-commissioned officer in
Yep.
charge. I'm like, hey, call the regional security officer, see what's going on. He's like, hey, sir, we're going to get a truck. And the truck shows up. It's not my truck. It's the Secret Service truck.
Mm.
And Secret Service is like, hey, we got to roll, So they left because they have to go do all the things they need to do. So I said, hey, guys, give me some bolt cutters because the truck was locked up.
Mhm.
And I don't know how they do this, man. I don't ever ask questions. But boom, bolt cutters. And he's like, you want me to cut the lock, sir? I'm like, nope, I'm going to cut the lock.
Yeah.
So I cut the lock and opened it up. It was their gun truck. It was just the boxes where the guns were. I'm like, hey, load the stuff up there. We got to go. So we went out there,
Mhm.
moved mountains, got everything done.
Mm-hmm.
When they were lifting off, the Secret Service agent in charge was like, hey, I heard what you did, to move this. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's crazy is I got a call that night, and I thought it was my team member, and they were like, hey, when you get back to the States, we're going to arrest you for Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, who is this? And they're like, special agent, whatever. And I was like, yeah, right, whatever, guys. Yeah, you almost got me. And
Yeah.
they're like, no, I'm serious. So it went all the way up to the top of Secret Service's chain of command, and they were like, Altman?
Yeah.
I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Like, no, man, he
Yeah,
did
yeah.
not do anything bad.
Yeah.
And he stopped it. But my team was ready to throw me under the bus until
Why?
the trip leader was like, he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have the trip leader that I had,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been a different scenario.
Mm.
And then this was after getting hit in the face in Indonesia. Like my first time overseas,
Mm-hmm.
my job was to put a phone in the president's, his little office
Yep.
in case anything happened and he needed to be on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought this phone in. We don't just leave the phones around. I don't know what they're going to do with the phone.
Yep.
So we're bringing the phone in. The guy's like, you can't bring it in. I don't know who this guy is. Never seen him before in my life. He's wearing these black pajamas. I'm like, whatever, dude. I ain't taking you serious. I'm coming in. And he's like, no, you're not. And I'm
Yeah.
like, who are you? And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm head of security. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, well, let's get Secret Service over here. And we'd start doing this whole thing. And he's like, I need you to get a dip note. A diplomatic note is not something you can get easily.
Okay.
But I got one in like an hour somehow. So the
Yeah.
State Department came through.
Is this
Really?
going for the airport?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No, I mean, it was for the events. I was game day that day.
Okay. Okay.
And so I really pissed this dude off, man. Like he
Mm.
was fuming. So he's like, come with me. And he leads me into this room, and a little bit bigger than this one, except for there was a whole bunch of black pajamas around me. So I'm like, oh, I'm about to get jumped.
Mm.
I put my phone down, put my hands up, and dude straight up tried to hit me with the right cross and got
Mm.
me in the jaw a little bit. And I was like, man, I am so going to fight these people. But in the agency that I was working for, they told me, hey, you can't fight anybody. You'll get kicked out of the agency.
Mm.
I was a diplomat or
I see.
delegation,
I see.
so not allowed to do that in a suit. So I had to pick up the phone and leave. And that was straight up violence, man.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I ever looked at the guy and said, you're not worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was weird. But
Yeah.
the process was hard for me
Mm.
because I've always answered violence with violence.
Mm.
As a bouncer in college and combatives instructor in
Mhm.
martial arts, dude, I'm comfortable with violence, man.
Yeah.
You want to get violent? Let's go.
Yeah.
I love being froggy. Let's jump.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care. Let's go. Let's see
Yeah.
how this is gonna roll.
Yeah.
All these black pajama people, I'm gonna wear some pajamas today. It looks like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen, and that was a real hard thing for me to process.
And this is like how far into you working like with the Obama security like detail
Yeah,
was
so
this in?
I was like 6 months in.
So
So
you just started, really.
right, yeah. So
Yeah.
they put me through an academy and they teach you how to dress like in a suit,
Yep.
so you don't stand out. And they're like, I look at the Obama administration wearing what's this, an orange suit? What, they make sure that you don't, because common sense, common courtesy, common practice,
Yeah.
they're not common, man.
Yeah.
So they said, this is your new uniform. This is how you're gonna dress. These are the rules of the game. If you ever get hit, and all that stuff. I just got out of that. My first, pull overseas is Indonesia.
It's your first location.
Yeah, it's my first overseas location. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was qualified to do like all the other presidential missions in the United States, but I wasn't. This is my first overseas, and that's what happened. It was a fun little ride, man. Fun little ride.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy how it could all kind of really change that quickly. But it's probably still good that you didn't respond. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's the
think
right
about that
move.
often, dude.
It's the right move.
Yeah. So I mean, I caught a lot of flack from it because my military aide, the military aide to the president, was kind of the trip site boss.
Yeah.
SEAL, Navy SEAL.
Yep.
So he's asking me what's going on, and I'm like telling him, and he is not having. He's not happy. Yeah. And then Secret Service, like, who is it pointing out? I know what's going to happen. I know it's going to be a little tussle between them. So I'm like, no. And then I ended up getting the guy came over and apologized, and I was very political. I got a political advisor that came with me, told me what I was going to say,
Yeah.
and I modified it a little bit, but I said what I was going to say.
Okay. What did the political advisors say to you? Like, you should be, like, how do you respond to that situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he comes up to me and he goes, "Are you Altman?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, I found the guy who hit you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you got hit. I'm like, I've been hit before, man. It's all
Yeah.
good."
Yeah.
He's like, "All right, we're gonna go in. You're gonna see him. He's gonna apologize to you.
Mhm.
I want you to just say, 'Yeah, I accept your apology,' and then we're gonna leave." I was like, "That's all you want me to say?" He's like, "Yeah." All right. What do we do? He goes, "Now, let's do it now."
Okay.
So we walk over there, and he's like, got my back. Whenever you go into the playground with your boy
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
gonna leave,
Yeah.
it felt like that.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun, man." So we walk up, and he's like, "Yes, yeah, I'm sorry that I hit you." He's like, "I'm a Christian." I go, "Oh, you're Christian?" He's like, "Yes."
Indonesian Christian.
Yeah. He goes,
Wow,
I'm
that's rare.
sorry, I'm a Christian. I should have never hit you."
Yeah.
I go, "Oh yeah, Christians don't hit people, dude.
Yeah.
But I accept your apology." He
Mm.
goes, "Yeah. And you?" I go, "Well, I have nothing to apologize. I didn't hit you. You hit me.
Yeah.
So I accept your apology." And then we walked away.
Mm.
And that was when this political advisor got really giddy, because he's like, "Hey, that was amazing. Have you ever done this before?" And then all the things that we were getting told no on the trip site, all those things were magic yeses. So everything flipped on the trip site so that we could do more things, because I got hit in the face, and the president didn't know. None of that stuff was knowledgeable to anyone except for my team.
Yeah.
And then, I get on the bus, they all rizzing me out. "I heard you got hit. Heard you cried a little bit." I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I didn't know what to do because I usually hurt people.
Yeah.
Would you like to be hurt?" You know what I mean? And I had those real conversations, because I didn't know how to act, man.
Yeah,
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Like, I went from super anger to like, what the hell? Am I going to lose my job?
Yeah.
Is my spot in the agency that took me years to get? Is that gone now? And like, what does that mean for my career? So I was really in like a confused state. And my body was like, "You've never not answered violence with violence. What do I do?" And so like, there was a time where I was just like glossy eyed, and they're like, "Well, he cried." Yeah, I think that's what it looked like. And then I got really angry and saved the day. So fuck you.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think that's just a natural human response, because it's not just like you have as men, like when we have a violent situation, if you respond to that in terms of violence,
Yeah.
it's just an instinct, really. Where
Yeah.
once you built that, if you learn how to fight or shoot or train for those specific things, when you get attacked, you respond with aggression back,
Yeah.
right? So because you're not able to do that in that situation, you have to like step back and go, "Oh shit, okay, I've worked my whole life to get in this position to work around an Obama security detail, right? You have to kind of step back and go, okay, these are the rules and parameters I need to play with. So I can totally understand and relate to you because when I used to work in social work, right?
Yeah.
I work in these houses, these refuges with these kids. And these are kids that have like lived in 60 different houses. They're in gangs.
Yeah, it's a mess.
They're taking drugs. They're on ice and crack and all these different situations going on, right? And I remember like one time I was working with this kid. He'd taken some drugs and I had to take him to the hospital. So I turned up on my shift and then he's having some drug episode. So I took him to the hospital and they gave him, I think like Benadryl or some sort of different drug. And then I drove him back to the house and he was like calm and he just went completely aggressive. He was going crazy. And in my job, we're not allowed to like restrain kids.
Aggressive, like verbally, or
Like-
was he physically?
Like first he was just verbally like really aggressive and then
Yeah.
his body was like turning. Like he had this I don't know what you call it, but it's like a
He started to posture up.
it's kind of like a it's like part of your body was like stuck. I don't know how to describe it. It's just he's taking some random drugs and the
Yeah.
hospital gave him some, but actually gave him a bad reaction.
Wow.
And then he was getting aggressive, and we drove home, and then I called an ambulance. I was just sort of like sitting with him, and then he just went into like a rage, and then like he punched me in the face, and I just had to keep him away and keep him like calm, like. But my initial response is to flatten him or put him on the ground.
Yeah.
You know?
Were you fluent
know?
in jujitsu at the time?
No, I didn't know jiu-jitsu, but I knew
Yeah.
how to box. I knew
Yeah,
basic
okay.
boxing,
Right.
right? I didn't know jiu-jitsu at all. But my response was like, I wanted to like just punch this kid and put him on
Yeah.
the ground. But then I had to restrain myself because if I hit the kid, like I lose my job, I get arrested.
Yeah.
The police are coming, the ambulance is coming around. And I can just relate to you because I had all these other emotions when I came back to work. And they're like, at first my employers didn't read the report to the next day
No.
that I got punched in the face. And the police came, everything was fine. Everything got sorted. The kid was okay.
Yeah.
But it was the next day they called me and go, oh, you got punched in the face, blah, blah, blah. You okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. And I'm like, I'm okay, But the feeling of that, like going through that, like I still felt a bit emasculated, but also just really upset because,
Yeah.
I'm trying to help these people and then I'm getting hurt in this process and there's no real kind of care in that situation. But I can
It's
just
hard.
relate to you because, I think it's just innate when you're like a masculine person that you want to respond to that threat quickly.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I felt shame.
Yeah.
Like I really felt shame. I've never felt shame, but I felt shame. And that was a new experience for me. I felt like I left my bloodline and became a new person in that moment. And like my grandpa, like he's a tough guy, dude.
Yeah.
When he was coming back from war, he got in a tussle with Gaddafi's bodyguards, beat him up, got extradited out of the country.
Wow.
And so like my grandpa rode with motorcycle like hellions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing him beat people up when he was like my age, very capable guy.
Yeah. Wow.
So whenever I couldn't fight, I felt like I felt that shame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't I just do that? But I knew it was the right choice. And so that growth moment it was weird. But you're right, man. You got to control it.
You do.
And that's kind of why I went into jujitsu.
Yes.
Because if you can figure out how to control somebody and their body, then you can get out of a lot of situations without getting into a bad situation.
Absolutely. I felt the exact same way. Like, I think it was about 6 months after that, I actually did start doing jiu-jitsu because I wanted to learn it. And I think just, when you start doing jiu-jitsu and you have no idea about what's going on,
Nope.
you're like, you get choked, you get
Yeah.
strangled, you get put in different positions. You're like, I have no idea what to do, right?
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
humbling.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrestled for a long time, but
Yeah.
I didn't do jujitsu.
Mm.
So whenever I do combatives or whenever I was fighting with the guys in my combat units, I would always do well with them.
Yep.
Because I had a history of
wrestling.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had martial arts, Asian martial arts with karate and taekwondo. So I knew how my body worked.
Yeah.
And I knew what I could and couldn't do. And that gave me that gift. But a lot of these cats didn't do that. They're straight up, there's no internet on how to fight. If their dad taught them how to punch, who knows how good their dad punched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a lot different than I thought it would be. But then jiu-jitsu, I started learning that and combatives a little bit, just how to get people into a control and how to like use your body to keep them away from you. And I was like, this is weird. Like I never thought about it like this. Because
Yeah.
wrestling is just like put them on their back.
And pinning. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
It's about pinning.
Yeah. So working on my back was something that it's hard for me
Yeah.
because they're like, don't give me your back, you know, because they'll get around and
Yeah.
choke me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But I was used to giving people my back
Yep.
in Roman Greco wrestling. I was like, you can have my back. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put you on yours.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, no strangling in that. So.
Yeah. It's interesting how that kind of martial art, you know, it really is about you going through different positions and all different positions, you're kind of flowing through that.
Yeah.
Whereas like wrestling, I kind of feel is just about like brute strength and like, you know,
Yeah.
explosivity and putting someone down.
It is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think where we're going with this is important to highlight. Like violence is a game.
Mm.
And as a man, you need to know how to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of men don't know how to play that
They
game.
got no idea. Yeah.
And it's on them.
Yeah.
Whenever they get put into a dark alley and they have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck to whoever that mate is.
I've got a story for you. We're at a bar, and there was this guy like refusing to pay his bill, and there was this big argument about what was going on. And then my friend was just like, "Hey, you should pay your bill." And then he got really aggressive, and then he left the bar and then came back and then ran at my friend, and then he went to my friend just like boxing instincts just went and punched him in the face.
Yeah.
And then like this guy was big too. He was like 6'2", 6'3",
Yeah.
and I just jumped on his back and then just choked him,
Yeah.
and just put my foot out,
Yeah.
and then like put him on the ground, and then I just like did like a knee on belly position, and then my friend was talking to him, and then like my friend like he had cop instincts. He just like grabbed his hands. He
Yeah.
was talking to him. It's just like, what are you doing? Like why are you doing this? And he goes, oh, like I think you're a bully, and you think you're a fighter. And then the guy was basically saying like my friend was saying to the guy like, why do you think it's necessary to like go around trying to punch people?
Yeah.
You got no idea. And he had no idea how to fight. He
Yeah.
had no instincts. It's just a big guy. Just he probably just thinks if I just yell at someone or punch them, I can kind of do what I want.
Yeah.
But he quickly found out that like if someone knows how to do jiu-jitsu or grapple, you can't do anything.
It doesn't
He's got
matter
no
what size
idea.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that technique will throw you down, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I when I started off, the higher belts were like, "You're strong." I'm
Yep.
like, "Yeah," and they're like, just reminding you, you're bigger than me, so don't hurt me. And I'm like, I'm a white belt, like no stripes. How am I going to hurt you? And
Yeah.
it's strength.
It's strength. Yeah.
So I did have that, but then stupid. If you're going to use your strength, they're going to technique you, and you're
Yeah.
going to end up getting hurt.
Yeah.
So if you're starting jujitsu, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't come in and think you're going to brute force anybody.
But it's the ego though. When you turn up, though. That's the thing. You know what
I mean, so when you go through cycles of being humbled, your ego turns into I know nothing.
Yes.
And let's approach it from there. So that's where I started jujitsu with like upper belts. I'm like, hey, I don't want to roll with the white belts and show all. Yeah, I'm stronger than you. I don't care. Like, teach me something.
Yep.
So I'd always go to the higher belts. Still do, dude.
Yeah.
Like all of the higher belts.
They're the best roles, really.
Yeah.
The safest roles.
And then they teach me something like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or this little change right here will change your game. So collar chokes are my favorite, and I learned different ways on how to do the same thing by different roles every time. You got to do that, man. You got to do that in life.
Yeah. But I want to ask you, like, what are your thoughts about men and masculinity and all the things that you could have been learning along the way in your journeys? How do you think men need to kind of like learn about this these days?
I mean, I appreciate this question because kids nowadays, and I'm going to call them kids, they haven't had to go through the hardships that their generations before them have had. Their grandfathers or great grandfathers have had to do. Like kinetic warfare is probably a thing of the past now. People aren't going to see people that they fight. They're going to do it from a longer distance, and that changes the psyche of things. But when you grow up and you have things like food and shelter and clean water, and you take it for granted, then you're going to look for something that doesn't exist in your life. It's called hardship. So martial arts is a great way to figure that out. It's a safe environment, and I like that. But you need to challenge yourself, or you're going to continuously be soft.
Yeah.
If you're not every day waking up, figuring out what makes you uncomfortable and attacking that, then you're going to be a soft dude. You're not going to ever really be a man. You're going to be looking for someone else to validate your manhood with likes. Andrew Tate. I'm gonna stand up and pretend like I'm a badass. Never seen that guy fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he could. I mean, I just don't, man. Like when you're looking at people, you need to like really vet them because they will hold space in your brain. And whenever you're coming across toxic or you're giving somebody advice that's toxic, it's toxic, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't do you good. And that's why I like the masculinity without the toxic version.
Yes.
But everyone pairs toxicity with masculinity. And it's junk. That's junk. It doesn't get you anywhere. Because the purpose of life is trying to be the best man that you can be as a man. And if you're looking at a toxic way to do that, you're never going to be happy with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you know it's not you. It's not what you were designed to do. You know, you've got to fit into the world and be somewhat productive. But yeah, violence is thing. The whole age group, they have technology. Like if I needed to figure out how to do something as a kid, I had to go ask my dad, my grandpa, my uncle. And I give them a call. Hey, I got a wireless light. How do I do that? And they're like, oh, you got to do these wires. And I'm like, I got this extra one. They're like, it's a ground wire. They're not using it. You know, I had to call somebody. I had to have men in my life. That's not something that you have to have anymore. You have technology. You have other people's men in your life. And then that relationship doesn't exist like it has in the past.
Yeah.
Like it should. So they're turning to the internet for that version of man that they just don't see in their lives. And society has taken all men and women and said, you will work, both of you. So men and women both work. Where are the kids? How are the kids formed if they don't see role models, both sides, male and female? So then you have a female masculine role that comes into a lot of these kids' lives. And you see moms teaching their kids, you know, sports. And that's cool, but like there's different men's and women's categories in the Olympics for a reason.
Correct.
There's a whole psychology that goes into things.
Yeah.
A woman can't tell a boy, well, she can, but it's not going to translate like it would if it came from a man.
Guy, yeah.
So, like, if you're going online and you're getting this fake male-to-male relationship, that's great. But what has that dude done? Is it somebody that goes to jail becomes a man? I'm not knocking. I mean, people go to jail and they come back different, man.
Yeah.
And good on you, but like, is that where you want to go? Is that is that the example that you want? Because that's who's giving a lot of people advice, you know.
Are you talking about that guy, the bald guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that guy as well.
So and it's like he's toxic, man.
Yeah, he is.
Like I don't want to be that guy.
He's also just kind of a dickhead. Like you see him talking online, the way he talks to people, and it's just very like it's not like I would say it's like alpha male. It's just like just sociopathic, really. The way that you kind of impart your will on people. Like I think he was like talking about. I saw some video. He's like at a mansion or something, and he's like yelling at people about the way they're cutting his lawn, and like that's how that's how you get somewhere in life. You just yell at people and tell them what to do. And I'm like, what sort of relationship are you going to have with people just outside of that? You know, you can't just win on fear, and that's his whole approach to it. You know.
Yeah, that's his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be demanding without being demeaning.
Correct.
That's called masculinity. Yeah, I need this to be done. You didn't do it. Can you re-look at it? And the answer is always yes. You know, you give them the option like it's a choice. And it becomes something that becomes their choice. They're going to say yes anyways. But like there's a way to be demanding and not be a dickhead.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that bothers me. And there's a lot of that in the world. And that gets views, man.
It does.
Let's just say what it is. It's dollars.
Yeah.
You know, it's attention, and attention is the new oil. So if I'm coming across with the staged whatever, because I think a lot of them are staged, you know, if a man ever stepped to me like he's done in other videos, I don't have anybody that's holding me back. I think we'd have problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And my voice would change an octave. And we'd get real serious right now. Because I just don't play that game like other people do. Disrespect.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's just I think that's what you're saying. It's the attention is the new currency, right? And if you're having all these different competing, masculine voices, or if I like am this character, then I'm going to stand out. And I think like Andrew Tate as an example, right? He has some good masculine things he says, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
it's mixed in with all these other different things that are kind of
Yeah.
going on. They, generate attention and
Yeah.
also like bad things. And I think children seeing that, or young men seeing that, they go, "Oh, I need to be like that. I need to be exactly like that," rather
Uh,
than knowing the other side of being a man. The non-toxic side of masculinity.
yeah. I mean, so who do you have? I know we talked about Alex Hormozy. I love that guy.
Yep. Yep.
But who else do you have as like a good example in the world? I mean, because on the scale of masculinity,
Mm.
Andrew Tate's like a 10. I don't want to.
Yep.
And he probably does have some good stuff. But I'm not
Yep.
going to give him a chance.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want to be anything like that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I put people who I want to be like in my life. I don't put people who, have opinions.
Mm-hmm,
And, I don't want to be like that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't want to be like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like Alex Hormozy. I think on
Hormozy's
the
great.
masculinity scale,
Yeah.
he's like a 7
Yeah, he is.
because he's very straight to the point, but he's not demeaning.
No, not at all.
He's not a dickhead
Not
at all.
Yeah.
But sometimes he's like, that just ain't gonna work. Really matter of fact. That's masculine to me.
Mm-hmm,
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a really great role model because he's all about business and also like his relationship with his wife as
Yeah.
well. Like it's a very traditional relationship, very supportive. All those different
Love the
components.
stories.
Yeah, he's got a great story as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the whole story of them is fantastic. Yeah.
But I think what's happening though with kids, what I'm seeing is this: they've got Andrew Tate and they've got this Fresh and Fit. I'm saying this is like
Yeah.
it's probably the number one other one apart from him, and they kind of are in the same realm. There's another guy called Sneeko. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard of him, but
Yeah. So he's like another guy that's kind of co-opting the masculine movement.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing, the all red pill movement, but then now he's moved out of that. He's like, oh shit, this is like not a good look for me because
Right.
it's like causing all these different issues to come upon him.
Mhm.
But I just think that streamers is the new thing for kids as well. They're all
For
addicted to
real.
streamers. It's crazy.
all the time, man.
All the time
Yeah.
streaming, so they're constantly hearing this voice. But then the other problem is like, especially in Australia, kids are getting, guys these days are getting these classes on, toxic masculinity,
Mhm.
telling them to not be traditionally masculine.
Yeah.
And they're teaching them in school to not be men. And so they go home and they go online, and then you have this, Andrew Tate, or you have these Fresh and Fit guys that are
Yeah.
like, this is how you be a man. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're saying all the things at school we're not allowed to say. Oh, I'm going to listen to the Andrew Tate guy. I'm going
Yeah.
to listen to this person.
Yeah, I like
So
it.
that's
It's
how you-
taboo.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So that's how you're having this problem where, like, in the real world, men now are being demonized
Yeah,
in
oh
Western
yeah, for
society,
sure.
right? And then you have the answer to that solution being, okay, be a real toxic man.
Yeah.
Then it's such a big gap. There's no like healthy balance in between the middle. Like this is what it needs to be.
No, I mean the balance is in your head, and you have to be the person that decides what you're going to do. Are you going to escalate at what level, and is it worth it?
Yeah.
But I think it folds into like a good example of people are different people online.
Mm.
They're gonna be a bully, or they're gonna say some stuff. They wouldn't say that to my face.
Yeah.
And I don't believe the school systems anywhere are doing a great job.
No.
So we still use the same structures. I was talking at a conference last week to some TED Ed folks, and they're like, we still use the same curriculum we did like 40 years ago. How is that relevant?
Yeah.
How is that relevant at all? It's
Mhm.
not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Yeah." And then I started talking to a psychologist who was really heavy into narcolepsy, and same thing. They've been doing the same thing for 40 years, and they're trying to change the system. And the only way to do it is by what we're doing right now. You got to talk about it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when are you going to stop and talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
They get on stage, and hopefully somebody will listen to their stuff. But there's no TED men. There's not. There's a TEDx, which is locations where you can share your ideas. It'll change the world, right? And then there's a TED main stage, which is now I went to TED Next. And then there's a TED Ed. There used to be a TED Women. That's no longer.
What happened? Why did they change?
They changed it to TED Next to involve more things.
Okay.
So this one included like AI discussions, which I'm interested in ethics.
Yeah.
And it started talking about things, but I'm coming in, I'm not like any of these dudes.
Yeah.
Definitely not like any of these dudes. And the women at the conference actually were more interested in masculinity than the men.
Mm.
And I'm going to end that there out of
Mm.
respect for those men.
Mm.
But You know,
Yeah,
there's
it's a shock though, because like,
if you have a lot of money,
yeah,
they're like, who cares? I
yeah,
have a lot
yeah,
of money.
yeah.
I guess you can buy a man. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that something you can do online now?
yeah, probably can, right?
People are like really addicted to pornography.
Hmm.
So if you're at the adult level, pornography is not something you should have in your phone,
Hmm.
but a lot of men do.
Hmm.
And so are you controlling it, or are you a child with pornography?
Hmm.
Because if you're a child with pornography, it's going to start to affect your sex life.
Mm,
It's going to start to affect your relationships with other women, with other dudes,
mm,
and you're going to start thinking differently because of what you put into your decision cycle.
yeah.
So I've always avoided pornography, and guess what? It's worked out really well for
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
So I don't have that time suck.
Yeah,
But I know a lot of people are addicted to it.
they are.
So I guess that's today's example.
Yeah.
But you can apply that to anything.
Hmm.
All the decisions are made in the child ego.
Hmm.
So when you strip it away, is this something you should be doing? And as a child if it's good or bad, because that internal feeling never, never has anything but the
Yeah.
right to know.
I think for myself growing up, I was addicted to pornography. They don't really teach you in school or anything else about that. And the internet's
They
just a
avoid it.
wild west, right? You
They
just go on
avoid
there
it.
and go, this website, I got this thing going
Yeah.
on. And it wasn't until like maybe like in my mid-20s that someone said to me, like, it's really bad, pornography is this bad thing. I go, no, that like it's a positive
Mm.
positive vice, right? It's this thing you
Yeah.
can kind of do to suppress this need you have as a man. But then when I stopped looking at pornography and doing any of all that sort of stuff, right, it completely changed how I, spoke and interacted with women,
Yeah.
because that whole response and how that kind of flows on was just through
Yeah.
a screen.
It's jujitsu for a man. Pornography is another jujitsu thing that you need to figure out.
Yeah.
For me, like my dad never had any pornography, and he was like, "Hey, don't do it."
Yeah.
I know people that have gone down this route. And he's like, "It's not going to be good for you later in life." And like I said, man, the people that
not.
we have in our life, like him being a man. I mean, that man. He had my back. He didn't have to.
Yeah.
So that's a definition of a good dad. And so when he told me that, I took it to heart.
Mm.
I was traveling on the bus, man, and back in the day we used to have these little magazines, and they would cut out, dads, and they would pass around the bus, and I didn't know what it was. I was always the new kid, man.
Yeah.
So one day I got included in this little passing game, and I opened it up, and I saw like boobs and bush for the first time, and I was like, and then I got caught. The bus driver saw,
Yeah.
because it went across.
Yeah.
He stopped the bus and caught me with it. So I was the guy, right? So I was the fall guy on that. And I remember he's like, "You better tell your mom, or I'm going to tell her." And I went home, told my mom, because I thought the bus driver had her number.
Yeah.
He didn't. And my mom was like, "That is not cool, And talk to your dad." And my dad was like, "I told you. Like, see, ta-da.
Mm-hmm.
This is it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it's going to be like. How do you feel?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't feel good at all." He goes, "You feel like a man?"
Yep.
No. He's like, "That's how it's going to be. You're going to create some false expectations. You're going to have this thing in your head that's not going to come true. You're going to be disappointed. So what are you going to do?" I was like, "Yeah, I just won't talk to those people anymore." And I never hit it again. But dude, you can't be a man and not see pornography.
Yeah.
It's just impossible now.
Yeah, it's impossible.
So like navigating that is a personal journey, but it's really mental jujitsu, because once you realize that it can strip a lot out of your life, to include your time. I mean, they say when you die, you get like 20 core memories. I don't want one of them of someone else having sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what a highlight, right?
Yeah. I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? Holy, I don't remember that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want that to be a flashback, so I avoid it pretty heavily. And then I see a lot of people get stuck in that.
Yeah.
It's like steroids. I don't know if you
yeah.
know anybody that's taking steroids.
I do. Yeah.
So when I was doing bodybuilding, people just assumed I was on steroids. And 8 years of bodybuilding, and then no, I'm on steroids because they see me when I'm big. And I was like, "No, I don't take steroids." And they're like, "Yeah. So how do you?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't take steroids." It's the same thing with pornography. I don't want that in my mind. So I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen it, man.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do the thing that I think it's supposed to do. Probably because of my childhood experiences.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Well, I can tell you from like a more like adult perspective of like everyone in like my school, like around growing up, it was quite common like to
Yeah.
have like everyone goes online, goes to the sites, and even like
Yeah.
my friends kind of like up until the last sort of like 6 7 years where I told them like, oh, do you look at this side or that side? That's like I don't look at any pornography.
Yeah.
I find it to be really distracting and unrealistic, and also just takes you away from the purpose of me actually trying to actually meet women and
Yeah.
go out in the real world. You know, it's like this like easy cop out sort of thing
Yeah.
that's really unhealthy, and it becomes
Yeah.
this habit that continues.
It steals your manhood, man.
It does. It completely does.
It does.
And I've told some of my friends, and I thought I was, they're sort of saying to me, I'm weird, or like, oh, that's too conservative to be that way. I'm like, no, it's not. And then now, a few years later, like, actually, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
I've got a problem. Like, I have a friend, I can't say his name, but he is like a sex addict,
Yeah.
and it's because of all this pornography, and
Mhm.
he like collects like women's like underwear and stuff like
Yeah.
that. He was just completely addicted to
Those guys have
porn.
been around for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't know it was this thing. He
Yeah.
didn't tell me till later on. Like, listen, I need to tell you, like, I'm doing this different stuff. I'm like, you need to like
Yeah.
speak to a
Go
therapist.
talk to somebody.
Yeah, you need to talk to someone, and I think it comes from just like growing up with pornography all the time. You know.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not gonna bash anybody
Yeah.
because life hands everybody a different set of cards, and some of them have boobs and bush. I don't know why that's coming out of me a lot, but it just happens, man.
B&B.
Yeah. So it's like, wherever your environment is, wherever you were raised, sometimes that's normal, and
Yeah.
you might process that different, but for the most part, it's gonna definitely steal a lot, and you'll see a lot of those people that do personal coaching. They're like, these are the things you need to stop doing, and that's always one of them. Pornography is always
Yeah,
one of
it
them.
is. It's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Well, it's your time too, dude.
Yeah. What were you saying about these egos? I want to come back to that.
Yeah. So Dr. Burns' egos.
Yeah.
He talks about 3 egos, and everyone makes their core decisions on who they're going to marry, what they're going to do, what their general ideas are based off of their childhood experience. So I've seen this done multiple times. You take a giant ruler, right, and you start chopping it down. You say, an average lifespan is this long.
Yep.
Right? And for a man, it's this long because men don't live as long as women. That's just how the world does us. So in that span, you're going to work half of your life. And then you don't get to remember the first 5 years of it. And then in between this point, this is where all of your ideas, your life gets framed in your mind. And in reality, it's all questions that you ask as a child between the ages of 6 and 10. So between 6 and 10, you ask more questions than you'll ever ask, even as a podcast host, as an adult. And you start to get answers that frame you and your mindset. So the childhood ego, it's a fun one to play with, but it's an ego. It's really your ego. And if you know that you don't need things, it's really easy to push that ego to the side.
It's interesting though, like how ego can run our entire lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how you chip away at that. I think like narcissism, with children, especially with social media now, where constantly, putting a phone on you, you're filming yourself. It's all about the way you're looking. And they said like narcissism comes from like when all children are narcissists, and then slowly like society chips them away, like people pointing out things they're doing, their parents, stuff like that, and then you get this healthy, balanced ego. But if you don't break through that kind of phase of ego taming, I guess you'd say, then you end up being a narcissist.
Well, here's the deal: no one cares about you.
Yeah.
No one sits at home thinking about you. Even if you're in a relationship, most people think about themselves. It's a natural instinct, and everyone should, because that's self-preservation.
Yeah.
And when they stop thinking about themselves, it shows in their body weight, their body composition, their thoughts, what words they choose to use, how confrontational they are with their tone. all of that stuff is an outward projection of who they are thinking they are.
Mm.
So to be real with anyone who's struggling with that, no one cares.
Yeah.
Get stronger.
Yep.
Like you being the strongest version of yourself is what the world needs. I always tell kids that are looking at that, I say, hey, especially men, go be successful and then go look for a wife. Because if you find somebody on the climb up, that may not work.
Yep.
Because you're not where you need to be in order to be in a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going in a specific direction and that person wants to join you, best relationship. That's a Hermosi relationship.
Yeah,
That's what happened there, right?
That's exactly what happened to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you focus, like biblically, the Bible says not to get married. It says devote your life to whatever purpose God gave you. And if you can do that without getting married, you win the game. That's what priesthood is.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they believe, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you win the game, and that's how that works. But realistically, you're supposed to find somebody that can pair with you and your purpose so that you can do God's purpose together. That's marriage. So if you're going to do life with somebody, pick somebody that's going to do life like you. If you're passionate about something, pick somebody that has a lot of those passions. And that's what's great about dating apps now.
Yeah.
Put all these things in there, then you validate them. That's dating apps 101. All right, obviously, let's go there.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're on a dating app and you're looking at a woman, how many filters is she using? Right?
Yeah.
So you can tell by looking at the photo.
Yeah, you can.
What did she put in there? Are you gonna actually spend time with somebody who's not that intelligent because you think they look good? Their intelligence is not where it needs to be, but you're gonna spend time with them because of why? Ego? Because you want to tell your friends, like, look at this person.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No one gives a shit.
No one cares at all.
Yeah.
So when you start doing life for other people, that's depressing.
But so many people do that, though.
Yeah, they
That's
do
exactly what they're doing all the time.
Dating apps is a prime example.
Yeah.
So you put out a fake facade of who you think, the world wants you to be, and then you meet these people, and they're not like. I did the dating app thing for a while, and I'm like,
how'd you go?
I hate this. I was like, what the hell are we doing here? But it's cool because like all of the things that I wanted to like find in a person, I put them out there. Like, I like somebody that reads. I like somebody that likes like learning. I like outdoors. All the things. You put them all in there.
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Well, I like hiking," and then you find out they've hiked once.
Yeah.
I hate hiking. I just put that on there to see if somebody would key in on it. So some of these are like tests, and traps, and we're all human. So all that stuff it's interesting because you do dating apps on social media every day. The relationships that you're choosing to be in are just like a dating app. You're looking at someone's profile, and they're only putting the best things that they want you to know out on their profiles. And you're deciding, do I want a relationship with them, or do I want them in my feed every day? Because they're going to come in my head. And you don't even realize you're doing that. So when I started piecing these things together, I started coming up with my own childhood ego. And I'm like, I'm just going to be selfish and only pick the winners. So if you look at who I'm following, they're all winners.
Yeah.
Or I'm not following them.
That's really, really interesting because you're basically curating exactly what you want to be seeing every day, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you go back in time, right, before internet, it's just like, you've got 4 or 5 TV channels.
Yeah.
That's like the actual programming you're going to be getting. But then now you can actually select that.
Yeah.
But I feel like, going back to what you're saying about AI, where we started our conversation, how that can potentially change and politicize things.
Yeah.
It could be, I have a feeling in the future that might be that you get some sort of curated messaging based on what you kind of get in your social media feed.
They already do, man.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of studies out there that said your phone's listening to what you're saying.
It definitely is.
And then it's going to feed you what you just talked about because it's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's all AI, man.
Yeah.
That's all AI generated. But AI is NPC, non-playable characters, right? That's original AI. They've been doing it for years. We're just now seeing those people in real life, right?
We are. We totally are.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to look like in the future, but I just know for now, I really find that trying to cut things out has been a better step
Yeah.
for me in terms of like managing that mental health when it comes to around social media.
Yeah.
Because I find the more and more people I kind of add along, it doesn't really, I just get more noise,
Yeah, you're not gonna always catch them either. That's the
Yeah.
other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it took me 25 years to work in the special operations community. You know what I mean? I had to go through the White House
Mm-hmm.
and multiple commands and prove myself to be somebody that was even worthy to assess.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go through a selection school or years of training like you could when you were young, but I went through an assessment process that took me a long time. And the first time I got assessed, I did not get selected. So then I had to figure out what I was going to do because I really wanted to be part of this community and be a part of this.
Yeah.
So like all of that is I take great pride in where I got to.
Mm.
I mean, it's the premier special operations unit in the world, and I got to work in it.
Mm.
And the first thing they do is they sit you down and say, "We're going to tell you what this environment is. This is all," and I know all the players, right?
Yeah.
These are all the players. And they said, "Here's a NASA story. Everybody here who got assessed and is here earned it. So let me tell you about this janitor at NASA. Guy walks in the front door. He sees a guy sleeping on the floor. He goes, 'Hey, so what do you guys do here?' He goes, 'What do we do here? We put people on the moon. My job is to sweep the floor.' He goes, 'It doesn't matter whether you're a floor sweeper or you're an astronaut. We're killing terrorists here.'
Mm.
And that's the machine that you just joined.
Mm-hmm.
We're bringing the best we can to answer the craziest problems that the world has. And now you're a part of that. Doesn't matter if you're sweeping the floor. You're still part of this, but people don't understand it.
Mm.
So when they hear quiet professional, they're like, you're not supposed to tell anybody that that you did this job. Bro, what do you think happens, man? You think magic happens and then these guys just show up? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they're just like
magically
delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking end of the rainbow over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's not how it works. There's a big machine behind
Yeah.
making people super elite.
Yeah, but this is why it's so important that it is being said, because like look at look at Jocko Willink, look at yourself specifically, look at David Goggins, all these people that are ex-military are going into these businesses, and these CEOs or other people around the world are kind of needing this support in how to run their lives and how have extreme ownership or leadership or working together, communication, all these different aspects that are so crucial. We really need this right now. So if they didn't say anything, and they were quite professionals, like you're saying, then no one would know about it.
No one does know about it, and they're okay with that.
Yeah.
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 So they're like, I'm just gonna get hired and keep my head down, do what I need to do. But it's just I want people that are in that community to realize it. And there's a couple that I really admire, and they're in command right now, and they're making a big difference. And they've done step by step. I did a Goggins challenge while I was at JSOG.
Oh yeah.
And I ran 4 miles every 4 hours for 24, and then I did a 48. And one of the guys that ran with me is another Air Force guy. And I don't know if you've ever ridden 50 miles on a bike, but it's a workout. Tried running 58 in 2 days.
It's a lot of distance.
By like mile 34, I had to take my shoes off because my shoes had cut into my feet. And I don't run that much. I hate running.
Yeah.
So I was just doing it for the mental breakthrough. But the whole thing was like, we're in this environment. I want to make sure that I can do whatever I need to do. So the command, when they were pushing me downrange, they sent me to advanced shooting. They put me through another SEER course. They put me through these crazy training courses that I absolutely adored. Because I felt like I was part of the community.
Yeah.
And it was. So when people like hated on that, it's because they didn't get invited to the show. They didn't get the phone call, and the Air Force doesn't a lot of times. So when an Air Force guy gets the phone call from an Army guy, they can't fathom that in their head, and it's a crazy thing. Now on the business side, I get hated on from the business side because I approach things very matter of factly, and they want me to dance around it sometimes. So they're like, "What is this?" There's no answer to leadership. There's no one size fits all bullshit. It's called people.
Yeah.
It's people. And you can lead your life that way too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're very selective on who you put on your team, like special operations, like special forces, like professional sports, think about any championship, anything.
Mm-hmm.
What is the main culprit to the winning cycle? People. It's always people.
Yeah, same thing as fighters as well. Like the coaches,
Absolutely.
the specific people they have in their lives completely make that team, even though it's a one-on-one sport,
But it's
Exact
not.
same thing. It's not.
It's not, man.
Yeah.
And you've talked to a lot of fighters where
Yeah.
they so what I've found with fighters specifically is they name hundreds of names while you're talking to them.
Yeah, they do.
This guy, this guy, this guy.
They do.
And whenever they gain more success, they get more people because people want to be around that flame.
They do.
They want to be a part of the machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same everywhere. It's business. That's how businesses blow up.
Mm-hmm.
So like the process is the same. It's the absolute same as any other winning organization.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got different acronyms and different phrases, but it's bullshit when people are telling me that what I wrote, what my experience was over a 30-year period is not true.
So what's their main argument about what you're saying?
Man, so anytime you do anything, you're
Yeah.
going to get hate from people who don't want to do anything. So you usually get it from your friends and family. Most people don't see that buffer, so, they're getting advice from Uncle Tim, who's never ran a business. You know what I mean?
Oh, I've had it all before. My own business,
Yeah.
right? I've had
Oh.
everyone tell me what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone's
so
an opinion, right?
podcast, right?
Yep.
You get
Yep.
a lot of opinions on a
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
Oh, that'll never work.
Yep.
Except for, you got thousands of views and, your followership keeps going up. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me advice on something you don't do. And we talked about my book, right?
Yeah.
I wrote my book and I got it out on time because that was important to me. I like being on time.
Yeah.
So I had some errors in it, and people, they would point out like the 2 or 3 errors that I had in the book. They'd be like, "You made an error." I'm like, "Where's your book, bro? Like, let's talk about it, man. You gonna give me some advice on my book? Last time I checked, it's number 1.
Yeah.
Where's your book?"
Yeah.
And people read past those, but I got the idea out. Where's your idea?
Yeah, where's your idea? Yeah.
And so everyone's got these stupid. They're the people line up to tell you how it's a bad idea because they don't want to challenge themselves. That's just how their mind works. So as part of that, and then when Obama came in, people didn't get to see him. Like I got to put him on the phone as the commander in chief a couple times. He was a good commander in chief. Like, but he'll never admit that. I mean, he won't. He doesn't publicly highlight that. So respect to him as a commander in chief because I got to see it, and the mill aides got to see it, and a couple times. I can't talk about them, but a couple times I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
yeah." I wish more people could see this.
Yeah, you don't really get to sort of see or hear that, but just from the outsider's perspective, like as an Australian, seeing him talk and how he's
good.
so good at speaking. He's
Yeah.
so good with people.
He knows how to talk.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, so he always conveyed the messages like first time people got it. But the other thing I really liked about him
Yeah.
that I got to see being on the sidelines of history, right,
Yeah.
was he would get a brief and he'd let everybody talk and then he would summarize what he heard.
So we repeat it back to make sure he's got everything right.
He'd say, "All right, guys, so this
Yeah.
is what I hear."
Yeah, yeah.
And like he was really good at that too, like really good.
Yeah.
Like people are like, "Yeah, actually, that sounds better than what I said." You know what I mean? They would say they would have that face, but they would be like, "Yeah, that's the one."
Yeah, yeah.
And so he was really good master at communication, and I love that. I loved watching that. The other thing I really liked taking away from him was when he made decisions, he usually did it while he was walking. So
Really?
big decisions. He would get the chief of staff or whoever the expert was, and they would walk, usually around the ellipse and sometimes other places, but they would walk. He worked out every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of his things. So here you go. I hate email. All right. I hate email. And it's probably because of the presidential experience that I got.
Okay.
So we were in some country and his BlackBerry wasn't working because he was a big BlackBerry guy. So they called me up. They're like, "Hey, boss's BlackBerry didn't work. Can you come take a look?" So I did. I went over there and I fixed it. And I looked at his inbox and I'm like, "Huh." The President of the United States got 2 emails a day.
What?
The President of the United States got 2 emails a day. You want to guess what they were?
security briefing and like an update, right?
No, man, those are all like I'd give them those
Okay.
throughout the day.
Okay.
You know, we gave him briefings. We gave all the
Yeah.
staff briefings, but like he got 2 emails a day. First one was from his trainer. This is your workout for the day. Yeah. And the second one was the chief of staff, and they would be like, "This is what the schedule looks
What's
like."
going on? Yeah,
But he
yeah.
never would open that because people just moved him. You know what I mean? And then he would, you know, do the day.
Mhm.
But he always read what the trainer had for him. And so I would always laugh when people would say, you know, I have to get through all my emails. I'm like, dude, this is hilarious, man. Like emails, such a joke. Call them.
I've got 30,000, 40,000 emails, and how
Yeah.
many boxes I don't read.
I hate
right?
it, man. I hate
Yeah,
email.
yeah, yeah.
I hate it.
So, you know, you really highlighted some really good points about Obama, right? But then Trump is kind of like, he's a masterful communicator, but in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Totally different, you know,
Yeah, definitely different flavor.
approach, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that worked for him.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have heard like how he threatened the Taliban leader.
Yeah.
You ever hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So like when I was in Afghanistan.
With the picture, right?
Yeah. Well,
The
yeah.
house, yeah.
So towards the end of my tour, we were in that phase that he had negotiated with the Taliban. So we weren't getting Taliban attacks. We were getting Al Qaeda. We were getting other like Houthis and all the
Yeah.
other terrorists that were trying to bomb us or shoot at us. But the Taliban shut up. And like, so I really respect that. And I think people look at him from around the world as a strong leader. I mean, he means what he says. And
Yeah, he does.
and when you're looking at him and he says, I'm going to bring violence, he's going to bring it. And we haven't had leaders like that in a while, you know.
Yeah.
Right. The biggest question I get with Obama is like the red line comment that he made. Where he's like, you know, this is the red line, and then they crossed it. And
Was that
nothing
Russia
happened.
with
Yeah.
Ukraine? Is that what it was?
I
I
don't, you know
can't
what?
remember.
There's so many different like parallels with that where they try to spin politics into it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a moot point, man. There's a point where you strike. There's a point when you don't. And it's calculated, and there's a whole lot of things that go into it that really are behind the scenes. Let the experts be experts. And well, President Obama was good at that. And then the folks that work for President Trump, you know, I work with them. They stay with the office of the president, no matter who the president is. So I have friends that are working in the White House right now, and you know, every one of these flavors is different, man.
Yeah.
But like as commander in chief, I don't think people are looking at the president right now and saying, hey, you know, I'm going to mess with America. They're looking at the military displaying forces that are super powerful and that can work autonomously. If there's a threat, that it will get taken care of in the nation. And then, you know, the whole, we wouldn't want to attack the mainland because everyone's got guns, bro. I got a gun in the truck. You know what I mean? I'm always ready to go.
Yeah,
you know, so yeah, it's what it is.
So, like, what do you think about like the approach with like that Trump talk? You know, because I think didn't he have a military advisor that got fired quite quickly, and then he had someone else that came in that was kind of like working against him. Do you remember that was something? You had someone kind of like
Yeah, Mattis. It was kind of like trying to fix things in his own way. Saint Mattis, military loved him, especially the Marines because he was a Marine.
Mad Dog Mattis, right?
Yeah. He's so his approach was very matter of fact. But I'll fuck with you. And if you decide you don't want to fuck with me, that's cool. I'd rather have that happen. But if we fuck around, you're gonna find out. And he wiped people out with those conversations. He's like, look, I don't want to kill you. I mean, he literally said that. I don't want to kill you. So let's not. But if you decide, I will kill you. And then he would. So he was revered for that. He tried to do some things that, you know, he wrote a book about it. But before that was, I think, Leon Panetta was before him. And he was like 3 presidents deep. He worked for 3 presidents. So it was kind of weird that President Trump kept him on. I think he wrote that in his book. He's like, I didn't expect to stay on, but then I did.
Yeah.
And I think it was all because Mattis was coming in, and you know he wanted that whole. Okay, I hired Mad Dog Mattis to come in. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. The whole military dynamic, it changes with the president. It all starts with leadership. The leader is the president, and so
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I was an operator pulling triggers or kicking down doors, putting people on the floor. I was just part of the machine that was America,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to kill Americans.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens I wear that flag
Mm-hmm.
proudly. So,
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask you about the Secret Service. You got on TV and you were talking about your response to actually what happened in that assassination attempt.
yeah,
So I wanted to ask you, like, firstly, what's your kind of thoughts about, like as I talked about, Trump has a totally different way of communicating to
Yeah.
Obama, right?
yeah,
And that's kind of inflamed things. Plus, the media like amplifies the
Yeah.
bad parts to kind of bring these things out, right? And we have this like person that took shots at him, and we don't know if it's just kind of spurred on from the media or
Yeah.
exactly why he kind of did it because all the information is kind of wiped.
Mhm.
So I want to hear like your perspective as to kind of like why do you think these sort of assassination attempts are kind of happening, and then secondly like the response to the Secret Service at that time as well.
yeah, I like that. So here's a volley. I often ask this question: has it always happened, and we just now are more able to understand it at a world level, or is it
Mm.
something that's new? Right?
Will always happen because you had like John Wilkes Booth, you've had
Yeah.
the guy that killed JFK.
Yeah.
I'm sure Obama had a bunch
Yeah,
of
he was the
people
most
trying to.
threatened president.
Yeah,
I think he still
he
is.
was. Yeah,
I think he still was.
Uh,
So, and we
even
used
on
to
the
get threats all the time.
even on inauguration, right? There was like a thing around at the time. I think I remember saying that there might be some sort of terrorist event or something.
There's a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
Like every day was a different ball game. Like every day that I was with the president was exciting, like in some
Wow.
way. So yeah, if Secret Service would get a threat and it was something that we needed to be concerned on, we started teaming
Yep.
like how we're going to do things.
Yeah.
And I can't go into specifics on that, but yeah, I would work with Secret Service and the military assets that we had to make sure that everything was going to be okay for the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an interesting dilemma. But I think the crux of the question is like, is this a simmering pot? Are we getting ready to explode? And I don't think so. I think people think that though. I think there's a lot of angst. And the biggest thing that I got asked on TV was, why do you think this is happening? I think it happens without press coverage more often than people know. And the things that get stopped without a camera around don't get reported.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I personally saw 5 or 6 similar events happen, where Secret Service stopped it before it even became an event.
Really, during your time?
Oh yeah, for
What?
sure. And
Wow.
but they'll never admit to it. They'll never do it because then people start to see how they got defeated.
I
You know what I mean?
see. I
It's a big.
see. I see. I didn't
It's
know that.
very
I
classified.
didn't know that.
It's a different level of classification the Secret Service works within. They don't even share a lot of the stuff with us
Whoa.
in the military. So their job is to protect
Mhm.
the nation's leader for the United States and
Mhm.
the national leaders. I think there's 70 of them right now.
Mhm.
So they're a big organization that's PPD. It's personal protective
Mhm.
details and divisions. So they do a lot of those. And I don't think that any of them do a bad job. They all have very laid out structures on what they're specifically supposed to do, which team member they're supposed to be,
Mhm.
all of the different roles, and they know exactly what to do. So it's a system. It's when chaos introduces itself to the situation that really sees like the light of how trained these people really are. So if I was an attacker and I wanted to take out somebody like that, I would do it during the season, man, because Secret Service is straight up tapped, and they've been saying that they have been for years.
Yeah, because he had less. Trump asked for more security detail, and they gave him
Yeah.
less or something. That was kind of like the criticism against
Yeah.
that event, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For the first one.
Yep, the first
Uh,
one.
Yeah. So what happens is the Secret Service gets on ground, and they start to assess the situation and the threat levels, and then they ask for security pieces to be filled with assets. And Kimberly Cheadle was the director. She had gotten Secret Service billions of dollars more in assets that were being delivered, but the problem she had was people. She'd hired more people, but she was still on that road. So the news asked, like, what should they do with her? And everyone was calling for her head. They were like, fire her.
Mm-hmm.
But she was the one that was leading the charge on the change. And she got up and did a testimony that was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I heard that. I couldn't believe it.
It was
I couldn't
terrible.
believe it. Yeah.
So if she just would have answered some questions,
Yeah.
she would have actually been able to make a difference.
Yeah.
So when the news called and they say, hey, what are your thoughts? I'm like, you can't change the leadership because it'll just introduce more chaos. And then they did.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't change the leadership. The deputy stepped up. So the leadership's still the leadership.
Yeah.
But if they would introduce somebody like immediately and be like, well, Kimberly's out, we're going to put Dan in here, that would have been terrible. And Trump would have got shot. I mean, he would, because the detail wouldn't have been what the detail is. They wouldn't have given extra assets, which they did. They wouldn't have put extra security detail on him, which they did. And Trump wouldn't have said Secret Service did a good job, which he did. So all of those factors, they play into that. And I'm an advocate for Secret Service because they are not an advocate for themselves. And everyone likes to bash something.
Yeah.
Grab my armchair and play quarterback.
Yeah. That's what I would have done. And I would have had this
was-
sorted, and this would have been a problem.
Everyone was a shooting expert.
Yeah.
Like after the first one, like, I could have made that shot.
Yeah.
Bet you couldn't have. I've seen a lot of people miss
Yep.
throughout my career. It's a pretty prominent problem for people who shoot guns. There's windage problems. There's a whole bunch of different things. So yeah, it's fun.
We were talking about this yesterday as well, about like men needing, not just men, but people in general needing to take a risk.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that got you into your positions with, working around the
Always.
4-star generals, and then, working on the security detail, and then all the things you're doing to now, right? And it comes from you going out of your space to actually take that risk. And I think people see someone taking risks and they go, I need to kind of tell you to do it this way.
Yeah.
So I feel comfortable in myself when they're doing that,
Yeah. So at the White House, we used to set up communication so that the president looked and sounded like the president of the United States. And that took a very regimented, structured checklist type of approach. And anytime you deviated from that, we had problems. So where I was at the White House, anytime I'd cause problems, it was because I was trying to cause innovations. And I got yelled at a lot.
Really?
A lot. Yeah. But out of that, I gained a lot of experience on how to talk to people and how to actually tell them why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I know who I was. I could tell them, another who, how this was a good idea and then how it would help them.
Yeah.
So all of that transpired out of the White House experience. I never thought to gain that at all from there. So when we were talking about that, that's where I was going to go with it. Is sometimes you learn the biggest lessons from places you'd never expect to look. When you look at some squared away unit, you're like, that's amazing, and you don't realize all the stupid rules they have involved. And people are turning over left and right because they don't want to be involved in stupidity.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, it does.
And no one sits there and asks the questions unless they're people like us. Like, why are we doing this, man? You want to leave your mark on any organization? Start with a question mark.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Not bad.
But people don't want to hear questions, you know what I mean? They don't want to. They want to see. They have something set up, and this is the structure. And you question something, it's like, no, you don't need to ask the question. Just do it the way it's done. It's like, but why?
Yeah.
There's a better way and a more efficient way of doing things,
Yeah. Well, I always let the experts be experts, and that's why we always became the number one where we were. And that's why we were trusted. That's why we did battlefield rotations, man. Like, the people called me. I didn't call them. They're like, hey, can we get some of that stuff? Yeah. What else? What else you got going on? They're like, come out. I'm like, all right, done. When you start providing real solutions, you get real results, and that's magical, man. It's a magical place.
I wanted to ask you about your system with PACE, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing that you were talking about. The first P stands for people, is that right?
No. So PACE is a 4-step guarantee that you're going to get whatever it is that you need to deliver done. So something that the Army uses in the signal realm for technology. And then it transposed over into my time in the White House, and then I used it, and then I modified it. I made it longer. You should never do that. But what it stands for is primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency.
Yeah.
So if you have, let's say you're going to work, you have a primary route, right? should have an alternate route if there's road construction, a contingency if there's a wreck, and an emergency if there's an emergency.
Got it.
So the way I do this is I do 2 paces. So I add an S to pace, make it secondary pace plan. So I look at the 4 things that can happen, and then I go, what else can happen? Because realistically, life is dirty. And if you let her, Lady Luck will fuck you. So I try not to get fucked.
Yeah.
Unless I want to. So then I do the
Good
2
motto.
paces, and and then we keep pace, right? And what I found with that is, where a lot of people will get stuck on just the 2 options. Most people stick this is how they do their life. Sometimes they'll do 3. Most people can't go past 3. If you give somebody more than 3 things to do, they ain't doing any of it.
Yeah, they're not.
You give them 1 thing at a time, they'll do that 1 thing really fast, really well. Then they'll be like, wait a minute, I'm doing a lot. I don't like this. But if you're looking at your problems, which you should care about, and the guarantee, if you want to guarantee that it's going to get done, if you're going to hit the target, you better put 8 in that clip, man. Pace twice, right? Primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. Primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. I'm hitting the target, man, because I got 8 opportunities to make sure it happens. And that's double what an elite person does. So if I'm double an elite, how am I not going to win, man? Every time. Twice on Monday.
So can you give me an example of a real world thing, like in terms of business or leadership, where you're going to be using this strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you where it worked for me on the presidential trail.
Yeah.
So President Obama, the first time I ever put him on the phone, we were at Buscade in Iowa. It was the final stop.
Okay.
So he had a whole bunch of things to do, and one of them was make a bunch of phone calls.
Yeah.
So I had set him up in a room, and we had to use his phone. Stupid rule. You have to use this stupid phone. It's
Is
an
this
old
like
phone.
secure or
It's
something?
a big phone. It's old. They don't use them anymore.
Okay.
But it's old, and I'm like, that thing ain't gonna work, and it didn't. So I heard him coming off of the stage, big booming voice, and he's like, I thank you very much. President Obama's voice is unmistakable, and I hear him talking to Marv, his personal aide, and they're coming my way, and I look down at this phone, and it says error on it, man. And, it says terminal resetting, but it's an error, and I was like, crap. But I had a pace plan, right? So I pulled out the alternate and the contingency is 2 different phones, pushed the other one behind the desk, pulled the other 2 out. I hit dial in on this one and dial in on this one to call the operator who had the calls ready.
Got it.
This one didn't work, so I pushed it off, and I had a contingency, and I started reaching for my phone, 'cause next thing I'm gonna do is put him on a cell phone, right? So it started to go through. It's kind of breaky. So I reached for my phone, I pulled the other one up, and it was just not plugged in right. So I plugged it back in there. That's my pace plan, full action.
Got it.
He walks in the room, doesn't even know any of that happened. And so he gets briefed. This is what we're doing. He looks at me. He goes, "We ready?" I said, "Yes, sir."
Yeah.
Stand by for the President of the United States. And I hand him the phone, did phone call after phone call after phone call. Meanwhile, I pulled the other phone out to make sure if anything happens to that phone, I have another one that I can get him on the phone. You see where I'm going? I'm going the basic lane.
Yep.
So another primary. And then the alternate, is that phone going to reset? Did it reset? Do I have an alternate? I have all these options to make sure that he can be the President of the United States when he needs to be the President of the United States. Because that's a no-fail mission, man.
Then you have contingency as well.
Yeah, I have another cell phone. I got 2 cell phones in my phone. So if they gave me the job, I did it. And I always did it. And sometimes I'd break the rules to make sure it happened. Like I told you, one of them, I have a lot of those. But I would break the rules and I'd get yelled at, but we'd always get the mission done. We'd always get the mission done. And then I did the same thing in special operations. We'd come up with different ways to deliver it to the battlefield so they can make an impact as fast as possible.
How do you think men can build a discipline? I know we talked about a lot of different topics today, whether it's abstaining from pornography, whether it's doing jujitsu, doing martial arts, whether it's actually trying to actually achieve things in life.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best sort of structure? You've got kids and stuff as well. What do you think is the best sort of thing to kind of motivate and put them on the right path?
Yeah, motivation's stupid. Discipline is what happens.
Yeah.
So people become better versions of themselves through discipline. And discipline looks like how you spend your time. So if you want the scoreboard of discipline, look at your calendar, but actually use it. Most people don't.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is the night before I review the day that's about to come, And I told you this, my whole hack to that is what do I want tomorrow to be like? What do I want from tomorrow? And then I write that down on the calendar.
Yeah.
And then amazingly, my brain starts to work, right?
Starts putting the pieces together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wake up, I know what I go on and do in my day. And then the things that get added, because fires always pop up. I add those to my calendar that day. So all my calendar is a reflection of my life. My kids will be able to tell you everything that I ever did, because it's all my calendar.
Yeah.
Because it's the grand scoreboard. And it allows me to say, okay, I'm messing up here, here, and here. Or I spend 15 minutes here. I spend 30 minutes here. I spend whatever. Sunday's always an open day for me. Yeah, it just is. I usually don't plan anything for Sunday. And it's God's day, man. And today's Sunday. God wanted me to be with you. And it's worked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so when I look at that, I look at discipline as a calendar tool. And if it's on my calendar, I do it. And if it's not, I don't.
Yeah, calendars are so important. I use one every day. And it's the last thing I usually do before I go to bed. I'm gonna write down exactly what I'm doing. And I think it's so important what you're saying about putting something down about what you want to achieve, because even when you go to sleep, your brain is putting pieces together.
Yeah.
It's solving problems. Like, that saying, like, you go to sleep, you sleep on a hard problem, when you wake up, you got the answer. But your brain is literally
You're working on
working on it as you're kind of like not doing that thing,
It's a cheat.
Yeah.
It's a life cheat.
Mm.
Now, here's how you can add more days to your day. If you do that and say you achieve whatever you're going to do by 9 o'clock, look at the next cycle. So I do it in meals format.
Yeah.
So breakfast, before breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay, what am I doing? I'm setting up my day. Breakfast to lunch, one day. So what most people would do in a full day of work, I'm doing it before lunch. And then after lunch and before dinner is another day. So what most people would do on Tuesday, I'm doing on Monday. And then your time, right? If you're going to give 8 hours to somebody because you like to do that, cool. You still got 8 hours.
Yeah.
So when you get home, another 2 days start. And guess what? You still have 8 hours of sleep. And one of your tasks can be like, I want to read. Do it. Do it in one of your 4 days now. So you could do Monday through Thursday of what normal person's day on Monday. And then you do it again on Tuesday. And then people ask you, how are you doing all this? You get that question all the time. How do you have time for all this? We have the same amount of time. I just use mine differently. So you can break it down into that. With deployment cycles, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
You get a lot more experience when you're deployed because there's nothing to do but work.
This is the benefit of having like a, working in the military, having that structure, because you're literally going to apply that in the real world. And
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of part of the world that's kind of missing now. All that sort of structure.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's discipline. It's holding yourself accountable. People don't do that.
Mm. Because it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable for a lot of people to hold themselves to a truth that they know is true. One of the first people that I helped write a best-selling book had this idea for 20 years. And he met me and I go, why don't you publish your book? He was like, like, no, do it by April.
Mm.
And then his wife was like, yeah, hold him accountable. I'm like, he'll have a book by April. And, it took a little longer. But the fact that he had a date made him stick to something. And he was continuously working because he knew that deadline was there. Without a deadline, there's no discipline.
Yeah, there isn't. That's true.
If you have forever to do it, then you think you're not.
It's never going to get done.
You never know,
It's never
man.
gonna
I might leave here and get in an accident and die.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
I had that problem a lot before. Like, only the last few years I've been starting to actually like get there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I would always be like, oh, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to do this thing. But then it took me actually writing down the goals and actually saying and doing the thing, not just saying it. I think a lot of people just say, but they don't do. So
Yeah.
it's easier, right? You get that dopamine as well for us talking about it too. Yeah.
So, Brian Tracy, we talked about him. He's like the king of goals. He talks about writing it as you've already had it.
Yeah.
So if you do that, then you trick your brain into thinking it's already in existence, and it makes it easier for your brain to like really materialize what it is that you're going after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the deadline is huge, but the deadline being like, I'm going to be the next level of whatever it is that you already have is how you trick your subconscious into doing all that.
So what's the next thing that you're looking to do? Like, what are you working on now? I know the Masculinity podcast. You've recorded so many episodes. You have some really amazing guests, and I'm really excited to see what's happening with your podcast as well. And you have Don Fry in your first episode,
Yeah,
which is one of my favorite fighters, but not just even beyond a fighter, just as a man that represents masculinity. I think it's like the most perfect guest you can get. But like, what's the sort of like plans that we're kind of heading now, Atlas?
Yeah, so like small goals.
Mhm.
I want to get to 100 followers because they say your podcast shouldn't get 100 followers for the first year. And
What?
yeah, they say like most podcasts don't get 100 followers in their first year,
First year.
especially for YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now, so whenever I go to so I want to get 100 followers. So I want to get that by the end of the year. So it'll be the 2-3 months in,
Okay.
and then after that, I want to go to 1,000 in the next year.
That's my goal by the end of the year.
Yeah,
100,000, yeah.
right. So then it's those little incremental steps where I start bringing people who are interested, and my guests, and they're all, I mean, dude, these people are all successful.
Yeah.
So like it shouldn't be hard to do this. So I totally see all that. But the goal is to be in the top 10 in the next 3-4 years.
Yeah.
I want to be up there, Rogan, Sean Ryan. I want to be in that list where I can be like, I am actually making enough noise to make a difference instead of just making noise.
Well, I think you have all the different tools ready. You have you've lived 2 lives already. You know what I mean? Like you've already lived 2 lives. This is the third part, and I think it's a real testament to you, Atlas, that you've put that all together, and you're continuing to grow and improve upon everything you learned. And you going to do this now to share this with the world. I think it's the next sort of step in evolution. And look, we'll be really excited to see what you're doing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kain. Appreciate
Well,
that.
This always shocks me, but only 10% of the people that regularly listen to the show are actually subscribed. Can I please ask for a quick favor? If you enjoy the show and what we do here, the best and totally free way to support us is just by hitting that subscribe button. And my commitment to you is that I'll bring you the best possible guests and the biggest stories every single week. Thank you.